transfer student from Houston Community College with an associate's degree in audio engineering. I was very excited to be attending the HBCU. Unfortunately, when I started at TSU, that pandemic had the college closed. The school was completely shut down. The only contacts were made were through email or calling information. I made more than several phone calls and sent out several emails to different counselors or administration to find out information on getting set up at the college. Constantly calling information and IT services, I found out my student ID number and how to register for classes on my degree plan. I survived through hard work and stress to complete 2 semesters totally on my own persistence. I was starting to feel very unwanted.
So the way you do that is an operator, camera operator 1, camera operator 2, camera.
Fall semester, which was my 3rd semester at the college, the school opened back up and I got a chance to talk to people at the school, which made me feel a little better, even though I was still lost. At least I had communications. Talking to other students, I realized the pandemic had affected everyone at the school.
The person who's always helped me day one is the Dr. Chris Pulaski, but I felt like when online it became harder to reach him because he's the chair of the RTF department. He has so much under his belt to deal with. So having to reach him by email or by phone was so hard, and he was the person who's always been helping me since day one.
As I continued to talk to students, it showed me everyone was basically trying to pick back up from where they left off due to the pandemic. But I was still feeling a detachment being a transfer student as well as being an older student. As I would engage in conversations with some of the older students on campus, I realized we were having some of the same challenges and concerns. Being older students, we have the roles of being students as well as having the responsibilities of adults and don't have the freedoms of most younger students with the support of their families and the institution.
my name is Catherine Batiste. I'm a senior here at Texas Southern University, General Studies major, and then I hope to start my master's next year. I think some of the challenges I've had as a older student, sometimes the workload can become overwhelming. You have family. Your outside life sometimes contradicts with what you're doing in school, and your workload can become overwhelming. I think that what would help is maybe a support group with older students. We work with alongside the younger students, but GroupMe doesn't always help. It's just going off every few minutes, and sometimes you need your own peers, which are actually your own age, to kind of help you get through this process a lot easier. My concerns would be sometimes when you're dealing with the faculty, they don't always know how to address an older student. I'm far from being a child, and you can't conduct a meeting with me like maybe you would do a younger student. It comes off a little aggressive. My plan is to get my master's in education and do rehab counseling. It's kind of going back to what I was doing prior to college, and I just didn't have a degree in it.
Okay.
Who else but Nicki Mons?
What's going on? My name is Christopher Jarman. I am a sophomore here at Texas Southern University. I major in entertainment and recording industry management, a minor in radio, television, and film, with a concentration in sound design. I was asked to talk about difficulties with being an older student here on campus. I would say the main thing would be the barriers with the age difference. Having students that are, since I'm a sophomore, most of the students are either 19, 20 years old, and I'm 31. I'm easy 10, 11 years older than them. So I'm either their older brothers, sisters' age, or their uncles or aunts' age, and it's just hard to relate to them as far as talking to them during projects or assignments, or just going about the day-to-day life, walking on campus. Tend to be a little bit reserved, just because I know that the issues that I want to talk about, they don't necessarily or can't necessarily relate to. Outside of the age difference, I would say a difficulty would be just juggling life. I gotta work, I have a child also. I gotta make sure that she's taken care of. So I got classes here on campus, and I stay on the other side of town. So I have my commute is a challenge, having to leave here and then go to work, and then making sure that I have enough time to make dinner for my child, and make sure I have enough time to help her with her homework. So time is also a factor, and it's a challenge having to navigate through that and manage your time well when you don't have the luxury of being younger and being able to stay in a dorm, or being able to stay at home with mom or dad. You gotta go to work and pay your bills, pay rent, lights, and all that kind of stuff.
The biggest challenges of being an older student is you have experienced life, and the difference is our older students are going back to school to retrieve updated educational information as well as their credentials to keep up with the new technologies of today's society, while the younger students are seeking a new way of life. So the differences in the mindsets creates a big communication gap between the two classes of students.
My name is Robert Graham. I'm 50 years old, and I am a junior here at Texas Southern University. I am majoring in English with a concentration in creative writing. I was asked to talk about my challenges here at Texas Southern. You know, being an older student, then my first challenge would be relating to, or having the students relate to me as being their peer, but actually being old enough to be their father. You know, so it's hard to have a conversation with someone being 18, 19 years old, and having to do a project together with someone who's 18 or 19 years old, and find a way to get across that communication barrier, because they see me as a father figure more or less than being a peer. So it's a little difficult as far as that is concerned. I have challenges with everyday life concerning the teachers not seeing me as a student but as a peer, and I'm not a peer, I'm a student. You know, so it's a little difficult for that. I have a really good friend of mine who's a professor here, and he and I have that balance between professorship and me being a student. But that's just one in a million relationship. But as far as my other professors, it's a little difficult because I am a little bit older. I have a different perspective on life. So as the questions are asked, I don't answer the questions like a 19-year-old would answer the questions. So I get a different response from the professors. Some professors think that I'm being a know-it-all because I have life experience. I just don't have the degree yet. You know, so I'm being a know-it-all, or they think I'm a little arrogant, which I'm not. But that's how it seems. And once they get to know me, they kind of push past that and see that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to give my answers from a different perspective. That's all. I have a perspective of a 50-year-old that has a 17-year-old son and a 23-year-old daughter. You know, that type of thing. You know, so I'm managing. I have a year left, and I'm going to move on into my master's here at Texas Southern. But I plan on being here for a lot longer, so they're going to have to get used to me because I'm not going anywhere.
Throughout my time at TSU, I have learned from all my instructors, and the one thing that was very beneficial to me was learning the meaning of essentialism. That's what inspired me to do this documentary. Being an older student, our knowledge and beliefs differ at all levels, and through research I found that support groups for older students would make the journey more suitable and allow everyone on campus to enjoy the team spirit of the university.
Learning doesn't stop when you're 22, and many people have life choices that have kept them from going to university at the traditional age, and so it's extraordinarily important to enable them to bring all the richness and experience to our student body.
To a campus support group for older students called the OWLs.
OWL stands for Older Wiser Learners. That's what it stands for. And I don't like that word old, so I say mature.
Since the COVID shutdown, they continue to meet weekly online to share problems and tips for coexisting with classmates younger than their children.
Let's face it, my brain does not work as well as it did when I was 20. So it's imperative that I form these relationships with these younger students and come together in study groups.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you just one more question. See,
seeing the benefits support groups have done for older students at other universities, I feel it would balance the learning